Hey, it's me, Bastian. Welcome back to the Beyond Best Practice podcast. So today I want to share with you a snippet from my Patenting AI masterclass, which I was hosting yesterday. And in this snippet, I'm talking about the two-hurdle approach, which the European Patent Office applies to AI patents. Here we go. Following items on this list are not inventions, right? And if we look at this list, what can we see here? We have discoveries, scientific theories, of course. I mean, if you come up with a new kind of, some explanation of quantum physics, you cannot patent that because science should be free of patents. But it also mentions mathematical methods. And as we already have talked about, I mean, if we talk about AI and machine learning, oftentimes it's heavy math, right? It's in the end, at the core, it is really mathematical optimization problems, right? So it has quite a connection to mathematical methods here. Performing mental acts is also a non-invention. And if we think about AI, I mean, what is the overall goal of many AI inventions? AI in itself is really to build an artificial brain, right? I mean, if you look at a neural network, it has neurons and connections there between, and the connections are made stronger or weaker by means of training or learning from examples, for example. So this is basically very similar to how the brain operates, and maybe has a connection to mental acts. Of course, the connection to programs for computers is really apparent because, I mean, any AI is software, right? And programs for computers are also on the list of non-inventions. And then in the end, we also have presentations of information, and of course also here, I mean, in AI always there are typically the classifier is displayed somehow and things like that. So in AI inventions, you in many times you also have some kind of connection to the output user interface, and then the question is always, is that just a presentation of information or is it more? So as you can see, quite a difficult situation maybe for artificial intelligence and machine learning, because it has so much overlap with many of the items on the blacklist of non-inventions in the European Patent Convention, right? But then, of course, we have this third paragraph in Article 52, which says that the items on this blacklist are only excluded from patentability when they are claimed as such. And I mean, it gets really interesting. When I was doing my training to become a patent attorney, and when I read this article for the first time, and even, I don't know, after the first 2 years, I still couldn't make sense of it. I mean, what is software as such? What is a mathematical method as such? And when is it not claimed as such and then would be patentable? Really not that easy to say intuitively. But that's how the European Patent Convention is structured, right? So what the European Patent Office has done over the years is by way of, the jurisprudence, just by building case law, by deciding individual cases, they kind of developed a framework to make sense out of this complicated legal framework here. And the framework we have in the end is basically called the two-hurdle approach for computer implemented inventions. So let's briefly look at how that works. So let's say that we have the starting point is, of course, we have an invention, right? So I'm trying to draw maybe some kind of light bulb here, right? So this is a light bulb, this is the invention, and as our starting point, and in the end we want to have a nice patent, right? So here there's the patent certificate. So that's our end goal. And now, of course, the question is, how do we get from the invention to the granted patent? Well, the European Patent Convention has basically two hurdles in between. And there is the first hurdle, and then there is the second hurdle. The first hurdle is what you would call in other jurisdictions, especially in the US, what you would call patent eligibility. So, for example, in the US, you have certain categories of allowed things that are allowed, that are eligible for patent protection for, let's say, absolute fundamental reasons, right? We don't have such a catalog in Europe, but we do have is what we call the any hardware approach, because any hardware. Because over the years, the jurisprudence of the boards of appeal has said that, okay, I mean, as a basic fundamental requirement of patentability, of patent eligibility, European patents are about technology, about technical inventions, right? So what you have to have is the invention as a whole has to have technical character. And so that's the first hurdle. And this hurdle is very low because an invention is said, a claim is said to have technical character if it involves just one technical feature, right? Any hardware will do. And this technical feature can even be trivial. So when you have a computer inside your claim, you overcome this first hurdle because it's really low. Anything that has any hardware in it will overcome this first hurdle, right? Now, the really challenging hurdle then is the second one, because here we are talking about then inventive step. So we are assuming that the invention is also novel. But when we come to inventive step, the courts of appeal have said, oh, well, how do we deal with these kinds of computer implemented inventions, which oftentimes have, a mix of technical and non-technical features? So there is, for example, in the L'Oreal example, there would be something like, a computer, and there is, some data processing going on. All of that is technical things. And there is also a digital image and a smartphone. There are technical devices involved here, yeah. So there is some level of technicality, but there are also maybe things that are more on the business process side, like what kind of product do you recommend for a certain skin tone? That is a purely beauty related and in the end business related question. And so that's a non-technical aspect. And if you have a mix of those things in a claim, what do we do, right? What happens if the only innovative stuff in the claim is really on the non-technical side? And so the boards of appeal decided in the famous Comvic decision that for inventive step, for the second hurdle, only the technical contribution is taken into account. So only those features which contribute to the solution of a technical problem, only those enter the inventive step assessment, and the other features are kind of ignored. We will look at examples how that plays out in practice. So for the second hurdle, what you really need is you need a technical contribution. And if you have this technical contribution, so if you have technical features in the claim which are also non-obvious, which also solve a problem in a non-obvious manner, then you overcome the second hurdle, and then you can get your European patent. So that's the so-called two-hurdle approach for CIIs: patent eligibility, very low, and technical contribution during the inventive step analysis, comparatively higher. Okay, so this was just a short snippet of my full 3-hour masterclass about patenting AI. The full seminar, of course, has a lot more insight than just the two-hurdle approach, namely 3 key topics. Number 1, can AI be patented at all? And especially which parts of an AI solution can be patented. Topic number 2, how to draft strong AI patent claims. And topic number 3, how to make sure that the specification, the patent description, has an enabling disclosure of an AI innovation. So if you want to have the full insight, I'm inviting you to join the next session of my Patenting AI masterclass, and I'm putting a link to the ticket website into the show notes. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.